Disney has created a lot of movies over the years showing an ideal or a perfect version of love. And while they've continued to show different versions of this, they've also continued to weave in different characters that exhibit highly narcissistic traits. We're going to talk about some of those this week. What do we look at when we're actually seeing and just watching movies and watching movies with our kids and not really thinking about it? What are we actually noticing inside of the movies that are narcissistic traits, or that just are plain narcissists? Today we're going to be talking about the Wish movie, one of the newest movies that Disney has come out with. I believe it's around the 62nd movie that they've done and celebrating their 100th year anniversary. And we're going to be talking through some of the movie, but particularly King Magnifico. Inside of this, I want you to think as we go through, is this guy a narcissist or not? We're going to break it down in a couple different ways. Part of it looking at some of his personality, some of it looking at the movie, but specifically, I want to look at some of the songs. I feel like some of the songs and the lyrics in the songs bring out the most information about him and about what's actually going on inside of the movie. So let's dive in and kind of see a little bit of what's happening inside of the Wish soundtrack. And in case you haven't seen it, there could be spoilers in here. I don't know. We're just going to dive in. We're going to see. I've already seen it. We've listened to the soundtrack. My daughter loves the soundtrack. She can sing the majority of the soundtrack as best as she can, being 4. But yeah, so we're just going to dive right in. So inside of this place with Wish movie and with King Magnifico, if you don't know the movie, it's about this idea where the king has all of the people's wishes. Everybody can come there and they can give him their wish on their 18th birthday. They no longer remember it, and he holds them all for safekeeping. And when it gets to the place where he decides to grant that wish, he does this once a month. And so 12 times throughout the year, he grants them a wish, one of the people's wishes that they give. So they're always in expectation, wondering when he's going to grant their wish, their deepest desire, etc. So inside of this is kind of interesting. Imagine a place where wishes come true, where your heart's desire can become a reality. What if I told you that this place is within reach? All you have to do is give your wish to me. A little aspect of control is one of the quotes of the movie. And inside of here, we're going to move into the place of King Magnifico, okay? We're going to talk about him a little bit, and then we're going to move into the actual lyrics of one of the songs. And so inside of this piece, he shows up looking great, looking really wonderful, looking really amazing to all the people. All the kingdom loves him. All they think is he's a great person. Initial facade, right? Like initial image that someone is actually giving off. Just like narcissistic personality of initially you think the person's great, you think he's amazing. Inside of this, he's the person that's running the kingdom. But below, we see a bunch of different things. We see a lot of egotistical aspect, we see arrogant, we see vain, we see narcissistic tendencies that are even coming out. Because what he's viewing inside of all this, he's viewing himself as being superior to everybody else because he's got this magic, because he can control their wishes, because he can grant wishes. Ultimately, the state of power where he expects people to actually worship him. He gives people their wishes, and he chooses when to give it and who to give it to. This is the interesting part. Inside of granting wishes, the wishes that he grants only are the ones that he feels will benefit himself and the kingdom.
You don't know anything, really. Whereas it is my responsibility to only grant the wishes I am sure are good for Rosas.
So most of these wishes will never be granted?
Yet I still protect them like all the others.
Can't you just give them back instead?
Excuse me? People come here because they know they can't make their own dreams come true. The journey is too hard, it is too unfair. They give their wishes to me, willingly, and I make it so they forget their worries.
So inside of this, it's what can I do to make myself look good? What can I do that will make myself look better? If I grant this wish, how will it make me feel, me look? All this. It's very centered around him. And so in this piece, he keeps everything locked up. It's all under his control. It's all under here. Now, there's people that say like, well, maybe you start with good intentions, maybe all this. I get it. But right now we're only dealing with the movie. The movie is, hey, he has the wishes locked up and he's only willing to grant them and give them, and he's in control of them. Okay. So that's the whole premise and the whole idea. Now, inside of this piece, he starts to get to a place where it starts to take control more and more and more. His power is questioned inside of the fact that someone else wishes on a star, Asha wishes on a star, and it comes down, and all of a sudden now there's new magic. Now there's something else that's happened. And this is going to throw him into a state of a little bit of panic, a little bit of worry of who did that, and also understanding he's already banned magic from the kingdom. He hasn't let anyone else practice magic. And he's told the people, this is bad for you. This is bad for you if you practice magic. Why? But why is it not bad for him? Interesting, because narcissists will always have double standards. They'll always make sure that you know you have certain rules you have to follow, but I don't have to follow those rules. Completely different. And so understand, in this moment, he's telling people magic's bad, you can't have magic, but I can have the magic because I'm the one controlling the wishes, protecting them, keeping them safe, all of these different aspects. You'll see in here where narcissist gets all split around of how is he actually twisting and changing reality to make it seem better for himself. Not for other people, but for himself. And so inside of this, we see this piece of control, manipulation. Now, inside the movie, there's a couple different songs. A couple different songs that happen inside the movie that are really interesting. So we're going to talk through some of the lyrics inside of here. I'm not going to play the songs because I don't want YouTube to freak out inside of this, but we're going to walk through some of the lyrics inside the songs of, hey, what is actually going on? One of the lyrics of the songs is called At All Costs. Now, inside of here, there's two things that are happening. Asha is singing and King Magnifico is singing. Inside of here, it's really fascinating because the lyrics that are going back and forth sound similar. We heard the soundtrack before we watched the movie. So in my mind, I'm trying to think, how are these going together? How is this looking? And initially it sounds like either like a love connection. It sounds like he's trying to take care of her. Like there's all these things that I didn't picture and put together until I saw the movie. And then it all clicked of, oh, this is what's actually happening. And so he starts off in this piece of, if happiness was a tangible thing, it would be you. If you told me I'd have this feeling you'd bring, I'd think it untrue. And people search their lives for a wonder like you. All of their lives, you still amaze me after all this time. And so when you hear that and you don't have any context about the movie, you're like, oh, that sounds so cute. Like he's professing his love, professing his affection, professing this aspect of, hey, he's going to protect and take care of this other one. And so he goes into the chorus, which is, promise as one does, I will protect you at all costs. Keep you safe here in my arms. I will protect you at all costs. Now, the fascinating thing about this is then when you watch the movie, you realize he's not talking to a person. He's talking to the wishes. He's talking to his power. He's talking to what he actually wants in the moment. Now, Asha's there as well, and she's also singing the song. So it makes it seem confusing at first of, wait, why is this going on when he's focused on power? What is she focused on? She actually sees an image of her grandpa. And so inside of this, she's actually talking and speaking towards him inside of the wish. And so she's going back and forth being like, hey, I want to protect you at all costs. She's coming out from a place of love, trying to connect and saying, I'm going to protect and love and care for you, while the king's going the opposite way. I'm going to protect and love and care for image, money, like power control. Okay, like the power control of the wishes. This is what's so fascinating to me because it's a perfect picture of narcissism love bombing at the very beginning. Is you think that he's talking about you. You think that he's amazed about you. He's not. He's amazed about the power that he has over you. The power of manipulation and control he has over you. And you're so fascinating of like, I love you so much at all costs. And he's like, I love this power so much at all costs. You're like, I love who you are at all costs. And he's like, I love my mask at all costs. So it's really fascinating because if you really look at the lyrics and break it down, it actually meshes up a ton of what you would see inside of narcissistic abuse. I don't want to dive into that one 100% because I want to get to the other one, which is, this is the thanks I get. Amazing song, amazing lyrics, and perfect for a narcissist. When I heard this song, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing because this is painting a picture in words perfectly inside the aspect of narcissism and inside of how someone manipulates. There's so much packed in here. We could probably make several videos just of this one song. So let's talk through the lyrics really quick. Starts off, not narcissistic at all. I can't help it if mirrors love my face. It's hilarious. Okay, this whole piece of like, look at me, I'm amazing. Oh yeah, look how amazing I am. Okay, It's genetics. I got these genes from outer space. Peep the name. I'm magnificent. I put the I in omnipotent. So right there, he's already putting himself in a state of amazingness, of power, and God. Super interesting, right? Narcissists want to be viewed a lot of times as being the most powerful person in the room. The king, the person that everybody else needs to serve, bow down to. The God of the universe, and everybody else has to serve them. And so right there, he's like, see, this is who I am. I'm one of the most amazing persons. And he's talking about, I'm this, I'm not that, I'm this, I'm not that. And then it moves into, he says, I'm passionate, I'm not petulant. Someone praise me for my benevolence, which is really interesting because Narcissist wants to get praise for stuff that they're not really doing. Narcissist wants to get praise for stuff that they're pretending to do or thinking about doing or imagining. And so they want praise and adoration for things that they don't even do. Like if you look in DSM-5, this is one of the traits. Like expects to be recognized for achievements. Like all of this is a piece inside of here. And so one thing's really interesting. He moves in, he says, I'll give the clothes off Benito's back if you really needed that. And so he's playing with these like little figures. Like I'm the best aspect of like a dominance feature. It's almost like these little, they look like little Wii characters, really, I think. But he's like playing with them and he's like, hey, I'll give you the clothes off of someone else's back. Not my back, but I'll look so benevolent. I'll look so amazing by giving you someone else's clothes to be able to help you. You see what I mean? It's all manipulative. It's fantastic how they put this out. I'll be the first one to volunteer. And then he pauses. Henry, because he's not going to volunteer himself to help someone if your home were to crumble or if you were in trouble. Like he's going to give someone else to fix you, to fix your problem. Narcissists will throw money. They'll throw tons of different things at problems except themselves because they don't want to actually invest the time, money, and energy into helping another person. They want to focus on themselves. So if they can pay for that problem to go away, why not? He steps in and I let you live here for free and I don't even charge you rent. I found this fascinating that it's like double. It's like I let you, you're here for free and you don't even charge rent, which implies that you're here for free. So why would it be said twice? Well, one, it's lyrics, so it connects. But the other thing is narcissists oftentimes will make you feel stupid and make you feel like you should be expectant to give something back. Like, I'm so amazing because I let you live here for free. And even on top of letting you live here for free, I don't even charge you rent. Like, how amazing is that? I'm pretty awesome because this is what I give you. And so he's building this case of all these things are so amazing, so you should praise me. You should thank me. You should be grateful and happy for what you're getting from me. So then he steps in, I clean up all your messes. I'm always there when you need to vent. I give and give and give and give. You'd think they'd be content. And all I want is just a little respect. And so it's this aspect that he's pretending to be this person that's so amazing, that's giving all these things, when all he's doing is granting one wish a year and he's keeping all the other wishes throughout the year as a form of power and control. Then he steps into the chorus, which is very popular, and this is the thanks I get. 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 Really interesting, because then it's like, wait a second, I've done all these things for you and this is all I get. I've done this for you and this is all I get. It's amazing because you see narcissists that will give so little and expect so much. You should respect me, you should love me, you should serve me, but I don't have to do much for you. And so it's interesting, he moves into a small little rift in the middle and he says, you're so brilliant, at least, that's the least you could say. There's more, admit it. Now in this moment, he's looking at himself and he's talking to himself in like multiple mirrors of who he actually is. And so the versions of him come back and say, you're cute, you're strong, you're bold and brave. And then he says, oh, thanks. And so there's this piece of like, let me pump up myself. Let me make sure that I feel good about who I actually am. See this kingdom? I built it up. And you still complain ungrateful much. Narcissists will make you feel like you are ungrateful for the basic necessities of life that they give you. Are you sure you're not the problem? I'd love to try to see you do my job. So all of a sudden he switches it. Wait a second. Are you sure you're not the problem? I think you might be the problem. Let's focus on you. I'd love to see you do my job. Narcissists oftentimes will kind of put back and forth this dynamic of, it's not me, it's got to be you. So why don't you try to do what I want to do? And it's this kind of piece of, well, let me actually push you to see if you'd actually want to do this. Oh, you can't do this or you don't want to do this. Oftentimes you don't want to do the role that the narcissist is doing. And it's not even a fact of doing it or not doing it. You could probably even do it better half the time. But the problem is he's pushing it, trying to think, oh, well, maybe you can do better. It's like a challenge to try to be able to push the other person back. Like, no, I'm not trying to do that. Okay, then shut up and stop actually telling me what to do. You see what I mean? There's this back and forth piece. All right. And so then he talks about, oh, I granted 14 wishes last year. Come on, that's a high percent. And now you're questioning your king? Disrespect. I just underwent. And so it's this piece of like, oh, you're disrespecting me because you're questioning me. Did you ever have that with your narcissist? If you question him, that's disrespect. If you question him, something is wrong here. He said, you know, I got your back. It's no sweat. Since the day that you were born and the day that we met, this is the thanks I get. And continues to go through this. Then you see the mask slip. Inside the song, you see the mask change of where he wants to focus on what he needs to focus on, which means he's going to go dark. He's going to do what he needs to do to be able to control and manipulate the people. He's like, I didn't want to do this. I swore I'd never do this. And so then he opens up this book and starts looking into spells and potions and dark magic or whatever it might be to be able to do exactly what he needs to do to be able to take control. He's like, desperate times come from desperate measures. Then he goes back into his regular riff of traitor in the town, goes through the thanks I get, all these pieces while he's running around, catching and smashing all these little like wee people that are running around. Okay, ultimate power, ultimate control. So, interesting piece, just about the song, just about some of his personality, and just about the misconception of the song before, between him and Asha. She's viewing it as love, he's viewing it as control. When you listen to this, what are your thoughts? Does King Magnifico sound like a narcissist? Do you think he comes across as a narcissist? If you've seen the movie, does he look like a narcissist? What are your thoughts inside of Disney's newest movie, The Wish, and King Magnifico being a narcissist?